and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Neda Sumik and I'm the National Field Manager for We Are All America, and I'm also a former refugee from Bosnia and Herzegovina. And We Are All America is a campaign that is led by refugee and immigrant grassroots organizations housed at the National Partnership for New Americans, who work to uphold and strengthen our nation's commitment to welcome and protect those seeking refuge in the United States. Our work is organized around three main pillars. Number one, promoting inclusive state and local policies. Number two, strengthening and protecting our federal protection systems. And number three, at our core, is the Opportunity for All, which centers the leadership of refugee and immigrant organizers. And today we are so excited to launch our newly formed permanent national table, the Opportunity for All table. This table is embedded within We Are All America, and it is designed to shift the narrative of refugees and immigrants as contributors and subject matter experts that are engaged in the decision-making process within the We Are All America National Network. So in its initial stages, Opportunity for All started out as a campaign at the beginning of 2021. And we heard from our community the need to work together towards a shift in social, political, and economic conditions so that refugees and immigrants can truly reach their potential and that we ensure our country continues to be a welcoming nation. Our conversations first started with refugee leaders and immigrants across 10 states in conjunction with national refugee advocacy partners, with the idea of creating a campaign that focused both on remaining a nation of refuge and also ensuring refugees and asylees and other immigrants have the support we need once we get here. Furthermore, the campaign helped with national peaks of action, such as rapid response around the Biden administration when it comes to refugee admissions, Black migrants, and asylum seekers. The campaign also supported uplifting events like World Refugee Day, and we did extensive rapid response work around the Afghanistan evacuation. This campaign was truly able to grow and create a national and local spaces that are built by refugee and immigrants, represented by refugee and immigrants, and led by refugee and immigrants. And because of this success, it is transformed into a formal permanent national table led by refugee and immigrants and those with lived experience. We're really proud of the formal launch of this permanent table, and my colleague, Kosar, who is also a former refugee himself and an executive committee member of the Opportunity for All table, will now share with us the exciting work and a sneak peek of what is to come in 2022. Kosar, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Neda. My name is Kosar, and I'm a second-generation Somali refugee. I'm the multicultural organizer with the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, as well as the executive committee member of Opportunity for All. As Neda mentioned, Opportunity for All in this first year has done a lot of work in investing in refugee leaders across the country and led and participated in several initiatives throughout the year. This table has given refugees and immigrant leaders the opportunity to connect with diaspora communities in a global conversation and be part of the decision-making table in the We Are All America National Network, whose work has had long-term impacts on the livelihood and well-being of refugees and immigrants. Not only are you part of an intersectional community that prioritizes diversity, representation, and cultural inclusions, you also will be a part of a space that focuses on healing and wellness, as well as celebrating our community wins and connecting with like-minded individuals. This year, we have a lot of exciting work for 2022. Similar to last year, we'll have peaks of action throughout the year, ranging from planning for World Refugee Day, advocating for an increase in refugee admissions, and coordinating messaging across the country, providing monthly leadership development opportunities for communities, to attending our annual We Are All American convening at the National Immigrant Inclusion Conference. Throughout these peaks of action, we'll also respond in real time to the issues facing our immigrant and refugee communities. Being a part of this table, you will receive leadership development mentorship, public speaking opportunities, and technical assistance for projects and initiatives. I look forward to being in community with all of you as we ensure that refugees and asylum seekers are welcomed and supported. And I'll pass it back to you, Neda.
Thank you so much, Kosar, for that sneak peek of what's to come this year. And now I want to turn it over to my wonderful colleague, Dagemawit, who is also on the Executive Committee Leadership of Opportunity for All, who's going to talk a little bit about the Executive Committee and their role and how they have helped really shape Opportunity for All. Dagemawit, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Neda. Hi, everyone. My name is Dagemawit. I am a derivative asylee from Ethiopia. I am also the Refugee Congress Communications and Advocacy Associate, as well as serve as a member of the Executive Committee for Opportunity for All. The OFA Executive Committee serves really in different capacities to support advocacy and organizing efforts for Opportunity for All table. And for me, being a part of a really dynamic executive committee has not only been critical for my professional development, but also has really helped Refugee Congress members in their ability to place their advocacy priorities front and center. Refugee Congress as an organization that's built and led by refugees and asylees and other vulnerable migrants, Opportunity for All has really been of value to our members and has allowed me to help understand how it is important to support our members and their advocacy priorities. The intentional and inclusive and intersectional work Opportunity for All has done has allowed not only Refugee Congress members, but also other refugee, asylee, and immigrant leaders to grow in their leadership capacity and place their advocacy priorities in the front, whether that be, from highlighting different members and the works that they have done through the Refugee Matters series, to training and leadership development opportunities, and just to providing really an intersectional community that brings diversity, representation, and cultural inclusion. Being a part of this executive committee has really allowed us to set that vision and framework, and it's given us an opportunity to provide that guidance and support and decision making for different groups, and given us an ability to support emerging refugee leaders. And we're able to see really the success of this campaign because in dialogues with other refugee, asylee, and immigrant communities, there was a clear need for this campaign to transition into a permanent table. And for me personally, it's just been very empowering to be a part of an executive committee and still around really incredible leaders from different partner organizations. Being a part of a refugee, immigrant, and asylee-led space with individuals who have been recognized as refugee and immigrant leaders who are committed to their work in their communities is not only empowering, but it's also a necessary action for us to take in order to really accurately center our voices and make sure that we're shaping the conversations, we're shifting their work, and we're providing solutions that are for us, by us, and for our community. So I'm really looking forward to continuing the work and being part of this incredible executive committee and seeing more success from Opportunity for All as we transition it into a permanent table. And I'll pass it back to Neda.
Thank you so much, Dagemawit, for all of your hard work and your commitment is being part of the executive committee and giving that a little bit of insight to what the executive committee does. Now, I want to turn it over to share a little bit about the work that's happening. And I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Sylvia, who is the Michigan Refugee Community Organizer within CWS, Church World Service. And she's doing amazing work in Michigan. And she's going to tell you a little bit about that and what she got out of the OFA table. Sylvia, I turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Nera. And like what Dagemawit just shared, being part of this table is very, very encouraging. And as everyone can see, a lot of us here are former refugees. So for someone like me who's based in Grand Rapids, Michigan, to be specific, being able to see other former refugees, other asylees and immigrants from all over the world working together to serve our community and advocate for our people has been very, very encouraging for me. And here in Grand Rapids, here in Michigan, to be specific, a lot of us are organizing and also advocating and working together to continue to do the same work that Opportunity for All is doing on a local level. So I'm here today to share a little bit about what we've been working on here with other refugees and immigrants to continue to serve and advocate, and an opportunity that has been able to come out of that. So I've been working locally with a lot of refugee leaders, immigrants, and organizations like Church World Service, Bethany Christian Services, the Refugee Lab, to continue to do the advocacy work here locally. So when I started working as an organizer, it was in 2020. And at that time, I started with working with leaders from all over Michigan. We started by just getting to know each other and learning about what are the things that we're seeing happening in our communities, what are the things that we're seeing that are wins, and what are the things that we're seeing as opportunities and challenges that we can be able to engage in. So we hosted discussions and meetings and talked about issues like language barriers being an issue for people to be able to access important information throughout the pandemic, throughout the elections that have been happening in the past years. Issues like mental health that have risen because of the current situation, like the pandemic. We talked about how we are lacking space to be able to host our own events, cultural events, host workshops, host just like different sessions to tackle some of the issues that we're seeing. We talked about just not being aware of resources that were available to some of our communities here. And these are some of the few things that we talked about that led to the discussion of opening a community center here on the west side of Michigan. So after recognizing the challenges that we're seeing and the opportunities that we also saw, we decided to organize ourselves strategically, and we worked with a lobbyist that Church World Service provided, and started meeting with elected officials to advocate for the center and just talk about more, share with them about ourselves as well, and our existence in the community, form relationships with them. After multiple meetings with elected officials and working with the lobbyist, we're able to highlight the issues that we were seeing in our communities to our elected officials and the Michigan legislature, and we're able to succeed in getting funding for establishing a refugee and immigrant center here on the west side of Michigan. So right now, we're working with our Office of New Americans, which is called the Office of Global Michigan, to work in establishing the center. We have the funding approved, which is included in the budget this year. And now, as the leaders, working with the Office of New Americans to see how we can establish that center. So all this just came together from us working together, organizing, supporting each other, acknowledging our common, the issues that we had together, and being able to work with the elected officials. And now this is where we are at the moment. So that's what we're doing here right now. A lot of opportunities. It's very encouraging, and I cannot wait to see what we're going to continue to do here on a local level, but also national level with the Opportunity for All table.
That is wonderful, amazing work, Sylvia. Thank you so much for sharing. And I am going to pass it on now to my wonderful colleague, Anahita Panahi, who is the California Campaign Manager within TIRRC, who's going to talk a little bit about the work happening in California. Anahita?
Thank you so much, Neda. It's really a pleasure to share this sacred space with so many individuals from all different walks of life. Again, my name is Anahita Panahi. I am an immigrant from Denmark. My parents come originally from Iran. And I am also the Refugee Campaign Manager at TIRRC and the former co-chair of the Opportunity for All table. This table has really been a sacred space for all of us who come from refugee and immigrant backgrounds to share the knowledge that we've learned within our own communities across states, to be able to really unite our communities in organizing for solutions that we haven't seen before. And this has really become a space that has turned into a more permanent space for us to be able to grow. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what this is going to look like this year. And I want to talk a little bit about what we've been able to achieve in California, specifically with the support of the Opportunity for All table. Last year, we held a week of refugee advocacy days at the state capitol up in Sacramento, where we invited refugees, resettlement agencies, stakeholders to meet with elected officials to educate our lawmakers on refugee resettlement, the issues that are impacting refugees and asylum seekers, and what some of the solutions could potentially look like here in California locally. And one of the bills that we were fighting for was ISAVN, the Enhanced Services Program for Asylees and Vulnerable Non-Citizens, which would actually provide up to 90 days of case management. And we were ultimately able to win that $8 million for a duration of 3 years to be able to provide the 90 days of case management to asylees and human trafficking victims, being one of the first states to do so, to invest in this community across the country, has really meant a lot to new Californians. And this was not possible without organizing our communities, without grassroots support, and definitely not without the space that's been provided by the Opportunity for All table. So what I want to say is, for those who are just joining us for the first time, I invite you, I encourage you to get involved, and more specifically in making sure that you organize your communities in solidarity and in unity when you are fighting for change, when you are fighting for the rights and needs of refugees, asylees, asylum seekers, and all those who are newcomers in our country. So I just want to say thank you for providing this space. And Neda, I turn it back to you.
Thank you so much, Anahita. Now I want to turn it over to my colleague Pierre, who is the refugee organizer in Florida and doing really amazing work. Pierre, I turn it over to you to talk a little bit about Florida and also what Opportunity for All has meant for you. Oh, I think you're on mute, Pierre. We can't hear you. If you want to just unmute yourself. There you go.
Thank you, Naira, for this floor. My name is Pierre Uwimana. I am an immigrant from Rwanda, and I am a Florida refugee organizer for We Are All America in Florida Immigrant Coalition. I would like to start by thanking all of you for participating in this wonderful launch of this table, which I believe will provide a bigger voice as we speak for refugees and immigrants in this land. And I would like to talk briefly about what we have done in Florida in helping refugees. And last week we had a refugee advocacy week, and the major objective was to educate legislators on refugee resettlement, to elevate the voice of the refugee community in Florida, and also celebrating the contributions that refugees have made in this state. And currently we have a bill that is going on. So we did advocacy against that bill, which is against immigrants, and I will speak about it in a minute. But during the advocacy week, we spoke about refugees, and we had a refugee day at the Capitol. So we had participants from all over the state. We had more than 65 refugee representatives and members of partner organizations that we work with. And we had more than 30 legislative meetings with lawmakers in Tallahassee, the capital of Florida. And all that to educate legislators and also to advocate for refugees. So if I can briefly talk about the bill that is being proposed in Tallahassee right now, it's a SB 1808 or HB 1355. And this bill is an immigration proposal sponsored by one of the senators, and it would harm local governments by dictating the municipal contracts and forcing law enforcement agencies to waste taxpayers' dollars to enter into federal immigration agreements. This bill will also reduce travel into the state of Florida by different immigrants, and it is going to harm immigrant children and our economy by preventing them from, preventing children from reuniting with family with their families in Florida. It is a very bad bill, and I would like to take this opportunity, in this launch to ask, our partners to help us to, so I would request two sorts of actions. So one is to send out opposition letters, to the lawmakers, and the second one is to invite others to act, either by calling or signing out petitions. So I will put the links into the comments, and then you can take it on from there and continue to help us to fight this bill. I think briefly that's what I can share. And once again, I'm happy to be part of this table, and I'm looking forward to a fruitful contribution to the welfare of refugees and immigrants in Florida. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pierre, for all of your hard work. And these are the kind of things that our refugee leaders are really working hard on. So once again, we put it in the comment, if you can help support, stop this bad bill by sending out opposition letters or inviting others to either call or sign our petition. So thank you, Pierre, once again. And now I'd like to introduce my wonderful colleague, Fereshteh Ganjavi, who is also an Afghanistan leader and the founder and director of Elena Light, which is a nonprofit organization in New Haven, Connecticut. So Fereshteh, if you are there and available, do you want to say a few words about OFA?
Sure. Thank you so much for inviting me, and it's my honor to be here. This is Fereshteh Ganjavi, a former Afghan refugee, founder and director of Elena's Light, a nonprofit organization in New Haven. As I am an Afghan refugee, extremely understanding and sad about the recent Afghan crisis. Since this last started, I feel my duty to do something effectively for my community. We expanded our program that we have in Elena's Light for newcomers, such as having more ESL tutoring sessions, having more health literacy classes, establishing and having more emotional mental health classes for refugee and immigrant women and children. I start collecting and delivering essential hygiene products, winter clothing. We are in Connecticut, obviously, it's so cold. And trying to support all the newcomers as any way that we can. Last year, we were noting that the dire needs for legal, know your rights training for our Afghan community. And in partnership with the Opportunity for All America, we had another big event that helped many of Afghans in our community. That session was in Pashto, Dari, and English. We also did our second workshop here in Connecticut, more broadly focusing especially in Connecticut, in Afghan refugee in Connecticut. We had really good feedback, and many people also attend for that. We are going to continue with this legal series that we learned from Opportunity for All, We Are America. The Opportunity for All also has supported us by uplifting our support and needs in national and local platforms, including the article that was published in the state of Connecticut about ensuring education access for all, including Afghan refugees. That's kind of my life and desire to do something for my community. I'm honored to continue this partnership, and I encourage others to um, join us for opportunity for all. We are America table, and also encourage my fellow refugees to join this wonderful table to learn more and have more engagement. I would love to invite everyone to go to our website and see what else they can do. Any opportunity you are looking, as you see all of the wonderful leader here, you can go to their website and see what you can do. Is starting from tutoring, helping from each individual that you see in your community. Each little step can help many other people at the end. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Fereshteh, for all of the amazing work that you're doing up in Connecticut. Amazing. And for being part of OFA. So now that you all have heard a little bit about the amazing hard work that our wonderful organizers are doing on the ground, now I want you to hear about some of the benefits that you can get if you join the Opportunity for All table. And I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Adamou Mohamed, who is the Associate Director of Grassroots Organizing with Church World Service. Adamou, I turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Neda, and thank you, Fereshteh, for sharing the work you're doing. And good afternoon, friends. Thank you for joining us on this launch of the Opportunity for All table on Facebook. As Neda said, Opportunity for All is a great avenue, a great platform for us, refugees, asylum seekers, immigrants, to come together to build power. But one thing that we also do is to build our leadership development, the skills that refugee and immigrant needs to be able to move forward with the advocacy and all the different actions that they're taking locally to make sure that they're fully integrated and welcomed into their community. One of the benefits of joining the OFA table is that we have trainings, leadership trainings lined up all year for everybody. And some of the trainings include basic US government, be able to understand how the system of government is in the United States, and also effective storytelling, how to tailor our stories and also our message to elected officials, to local community members, and the power of organizing, how to engage elected officials and best advocacy practices, and also how to organize your own local events in your respective communities. And one of the things that we always think about is that these trainings are really skill building. And also these are trainings that you can use in your personal and professional lives. So therefore, OFA, Opportunity for All, will be providing participants who are able to attend any of the 3 workshops. So throughout the year, we have 9 trainings lined up. But if you are able to attend 3 of the workshops, we'll be providing you with a certificate of participation, which you can put on your resume too. And also, if you're able to attend all the trainings, you will be, all the 9 trainings throughout the year, you'll be given a certificate of completion, which you can also put on your resume and also brag about it, of course. This training occurs at most once every month. And then for future trainings, of course, we are always looking for facilitators for the following year, for next year training. So if you feel interested and you want to be a co-facilitator or a facilitator on one of those trainings, we encourage you to sign up for those in the future. But let's talk about what is coming on in the next month. So we just had our first training, which is about storytelling last week. And then next month, March 17th at 7 p.m., we are having our next training, which will focus on basic U.S. government 101 and 202, which goes in depth about how a bill becomes a law, how our government works, and how everything kind of come together. So I think it's a great training for us to understand how these are done so that we can be better prepared and informed when we advocate for our community. To sign up for this training that is coming up on March 17th, you should be able to click on the link that is being shared now. on your screen so that you can register for these trainings. And then, you will get some follow-up and you'll be able to sign up. Other benefits for being part of the OFA table is one, this great, amazing event, or I would say pilot program that we are launching as part of the OFA table is the Ethnic-Based Community Organization Pilot Program, which provides mini grants to ECBOs, ethnic community-based organizations that are involved in local and immigrant advocacy and policy efforts. The table will accept proposals from February 23rd as of today, and then until March 15th at 3 p.m. when we will wrap up accepting proposal, and then the awardees will be notified by March 31st of this year of if they will be granted the 3,000 mini grants to do a great work in their community. And some of the benefits of being part of the OFA is also the technical support that you will be getting from We All America members as an ECBO community organization, policy trainings, communication support, advocacy, coalition building and organizing. And you will also have access to all the trainings that is being provided by the We All America campaign network. And you will also be recognized on the national platform at the next NIC, the 2022 NIC that is coming up in December. We will be invited, and your organization will be recognized for the great work that you're doing. This is just a summary of some of the benefits of joining the We All America Opportunity for All table. I will pass it back to Neda, and looking forward to working with you all in the year to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Adamou. So that was a little bit of insight into some of the benefits of the Opportunity for All table. And now, before we wrap up, just ways that you all can be engaged or support the table. There are several ways to do that. So first of all, if you are interested in joining the table, there are several requirements. You can look up those requirements on our membership form, which we'll share the link to in the comment section. If you're interested in joining, please fill out the membership form and we will reach out to you and have a one-on-one informal interview with you. Now, if you're not able to join the table, but your organization would like to support the table, please join the list of 18 other organizations that have already signed on and endorsed the table. All you have to do is put your organization's name and information, and you can do that by clicking on the link on the comment box below right now that you see. So at this time, we would like to thank you all for joining us. I want to thank all of the Opportunity for All speakers for joining today, and for everyone for tuning in. For more information on Opportunity for All, visit our website, weareallusa.org/OFA_table. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day. Bye.